Good evening, Source Nation, and welcome to Millennial Empowerment. Millennial Empowerment is a show that will empower, encourage, and edify. Tonight's topic is securing your peace. I'm going to take you all to my latest blog post, and that was peace versus understanding. If you go to www.theimitationblog.weebly.com and you stroll over at the top, you see a couple of tabs, and I want you to click blogs, and you'll see my recent posts. My last one was peace versus understanding. And so tonight we're going to talk about securing peace. It's so important to have your peace secured. It's way more important than having the bag secured. It's way more important than looking up the part and looking like you got it all together and struggling with inner things that you haven't chose to deal with. And so when I put together this particular blog, I paid attention to the fact that people are hurting and the fact that people are going through things that they feel like they can't voice and they feel like they can't take that time to deal with because there's so many different things going on around the world. And if you look at it, statistics show different things about depression, and in the Black community, we deal with mental health and we deal with all these different issues that nobody wants to face anymore. And if you look at the picture that I put along with peace versus understanding, I put, he's just moving the pieces around. So while he's rearranging things, sometimes we want to understand, but in reality, he just wants us to have peace, to understand that the process is necessary. It's not about you understanding the process. It's all about understanding that peace is supposed to surpass understanding. And it's so often that we go through things, want to understand why, and want to understand, why it's me and why it's not them and why does it seem like everybody else has their stuff together. People choose what they want to show. People choose what they show on social media. People choose what they show all throughout their lives because they don't want to. Of course, nobody's going to just put out there on the forefront what they really have going on, what demons they're boxing with day to day. And if we break down my blog post, you see that in the last sentence in my first paragraph, it says, I'm all for securing the bag, and best believe I'm all for securing the bag. But most recently, a new goal was added to my bucket list, and that was securing my peace. And it says then that I didn't truly come to terms with the importance of that before because it never even crossed my mind. Simply because I rather put time into things that were what I considered beneficial. And God, that's so important to just take in right there. What I consider to be beneficial. If you do a self-check right now and you look at all the things on your list at what you consider beneficial, is anything on that list helping your peace, helping your happiness, helping your joy, helping secure anything that's really necessary for your growth? So we talk about all the time that we want to grow and we want to expand and we want to be on this high pedestal, but this is how life works. You have to understand that those inner things that you choose to push off today are things that you're going to have to deal with later on. So why not deal with them now? It's going to affect you later on. You can't be better for anyone until you're better for yourself. You can't be of encouragement. You can't be of asset. You can't be of anything to anyone that you haven't first dealt with within yourself. If you can't make yourself happy, then why do you expect somebody else to come along and just shift your happiness and your uncontent and all this stuff into one little corner and be like, okay, well, I'm going to fix you. Don't wait for someone to fix you when you can handle that stuff yourself. And so when we look at this particular last blog that I posted, my next sentence was, you can think that securing the bag is all you need to do all your life. But I promise you, you won't find happiness in that bag. You won't find joy in that bag. You won't find love. You won't find all these necessary things in that bag if you don't first know peace. I'm sorry. Peace is one of those things that you got to have on your list. And if I'm being completely honest, I mean, we sometimes focus on the things that look good because it's easier to look better than what we feel. And I say that in the most cliche way possible. People are fighting battles each and every day that you know nothing about and that I know nothing about. It could be your friends, it could be your family members, it could be people you see each and every day that you go to work or that you go to school or wherever you are day to day. People are fighting real things. That stuff doesn't go away. And so when we look at securing our peace, you're like, Destiny, what does that mean? Like, or how do you secure your peace? Secure your peace. If anything in your life right now is causing you to, it's every time you in that room, or every time you're with that person, or every time you're with those group of people, you just feel this urge to not want to do nothing. You just feel this urge to be content, and you just feel this urge to not want to get to your next level, and you just start feeling down and weighed down and in your situation and just being comfortable in your mess. You haven't secured your peace. Securing your peace is when you go to those places that challenge you on the inside. And see, when you secure your peace, you no longer want to be around people that's always in your amen corner. When you secure your peace, you then understand that challenge doesn't mean shut down. Challenge means I'm going to find my inner strength. When you see those obstacles and when you see those things that come into your life and when you see those things that you have to deal with on a daily basis, when you secure your peace, that's when you'll look that thing in the eye and say, I don't know what you came here to do. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. I don't know what you thought was going to take place. You thought that you were going to take me out with this struggle. You thought that you were going to take me out with this depression. You thought that you were going to take me out with the way things were looking right now. You thought that my environment was going to be a hindrance for my growth. But in reality, my environment was something that was just showing me why I needed to get to my next level, because I was going to open the door for people that was coming after me. And that's all it's all about. When you secure your peace, you don't feel threatened by nobody else. I met some of the most insecure people, and they call themselves empowered, and they call themselves inspirational, and they call themselves all these different titles. In reality, you were more focused on the title than you were actually helping people. Because when you have your peace secured, you're not worried about someone else's elevation. You're not worried about how someone else got there. You're not worried about helping somebody else and then maybe they might elevate greater than you. That's the thing about leadership, man. When you're in leadership and when you're in a place of inspiration and you're in a place where you can impact folks, like, you don't worry about the person that you're impacting getting bigger than you. That's the whole point. Leaders build other leaders. Leaders don't just create followers and have this following. That's not what it's about. Secure your peace so that you understand that I don't have to be in competition with nobody else because there is no other me. And people, sometimes we forget that. You have to be confident in who you are. There is no other you. And when you understand that, you will realize why it was necessary to go through what you went through. You realize why you had to go through that test. You realize why you had to deal with old boy, or why you had to deal with that girl, or whatever it was that you were fighting with situationships and with friendships and all these different things. You'll realize why, because your story is going to help somebody else. And see, like, I didn't really understand that either myself. Getting older, I was just like, well, you know, I'm really going to just try to keep myself away from problems, because if I don't know a problem, then I don't have to deal with it. Y'all, everything that I stumbled upon, every situation that I had to deal with, every struggle I faced, everything that I went through was only strengthening me for my next destination. If I would have stayed focused on my first stop, then I would never got to my next stop. That's a word for someone right there. If you stay focused on what it looks like today, you'll never know the possibility that tomorrow holds. You never know the possibility that can be created from your mess. Like, you got to understand that when you're going through stuff, you're not going through it just for yourself sometimes, man. You're going through it for somebody else. Somebody else needs your story to understand that I need to hold on. I need to keep pressing. Like, I can't give up. And this is why this particular show right here is important. Millennial empowerment. Man, millennials are hurting. Millennials are facing things that baby boomers, our parents, their generation, they faced stuff like this, but it wasn't so bad, man. Like, we have kids committing harm to themselves. We have people dealing with real situations day to day, and they try to cover it up and act like they're okay, walk out the door with a smile on their face. In reality, they're dying inside. That's real problems. I've met people in my life that told me, yeah, I struggle with depression. If I looked at them day to day, I would have never thought depression even came their way. That's the things people are fighting today. And it's so important. I don't know how much I got to stress it for people to realize that when you secure your peace, it doesn't make you have to feel like that you have now got your struggle repellent on because you secured your peace, or that you have your situation and trial and tribulation repellent on because you secured your peace. No, it means that now, because you have secured your peace, when you go through these things, you're not focused on understanding it. You're focused on the fact that, hey, I got my peace, and I know that whatever I'm going through right now is only strengthening me. It's adding to my purpose. It's adding to my journey. It's strengthening me for my next situation I got to face. And so that when I go through that, I know I got inner strength, because God knows that if He brought me through that last thing, and I know He'll bring me through my next thing. So why am I going to fret? Why am I going to fear? And it's hard sometimes to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but sometimes you got to do it. Nobody can't do for you what you're going to do but you can do for yourself. Nobody's going to do that for you. And sometimes we got to like tap ourselves on the shoulder and be like, hey, wake up to reality. Wake up to reality and realize that you got this. I promise you, it's nothing that you're facing today that you weren't built for. I promise you, it's nothing that you have faced that you weren't built for. I promise you that it's nothing that you're going to face that you weren't built for. And I want someone on this particular, that comes across this video, that feels like this is talking to them, that feels like this is going to inspire them. I want you to know this. Also, you're going to run into those times where you're not okay. Mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is that you're not okay in, it's okay to say that you're not okay. And that's the problem with so many of us. We bottle these things in because we find ourselves trying to secure all these different areas of our life, but yet we miss the key things that we need to secure. Man, if you're not happy, you'll go day to day trying to find your happiness in things that will never add to your happiness. Yeah, securing the bag will add to the things that you want, but securing your peace will add to the things that you need. And so that when you're going through life and you're trying to figure out your destiny, and you're trying to figure out your destination, it's like you then don't worry about what you have faced, but you understand that what I've faced ain't got nothing on what I'm going to be. So I'm okay going through that. I'm okay facing those trials, and I'm okay facing those tribulations, because you're going to look back on your life and be like, whoo, I made it through. And just that statement right there bless someone. That statement right there. For simply saying, man, what I went through would have probably killed you. But because I knew peace, I didn't have to search for my answers and understanding. Because peace lets me know that no matter what it looks like, no matter what I'm feeling today, there is possibility for change tomorrow and the day after that. But if I focus on the door and not what's behind the door, I'll miss it. The door may not be appealing. The door may look hard to get through. The door may have so many locks, you like I can never get through. It's impossible. I promise you, right where you see that impossible, there's a possibility. I promise you. And so we look at my blog and we work our way through And I want to read this part. I want it to be verbatim. I want you guys to really hear this, and we're going to dissect this as well. When your peace is secured, you don't get easily angered. When your peace is secured, you don't worry about proving a point to people. When your peace is secured, you understand that yesterday's mess ups don't have to be today's setbacks. When your peace is secure, you don't long for validation from people that have a hard time making time to be there for you. When your peace is secure, you don't have to dim someone else's light to find yours. When your peace is secure, you don't find it necessary to bring an excuse to everything that challenges you. Instead, you look it in the eye and you are not defined by your yesterdays. When you know peace, when your peace is secure, you never let it become something that is negotiable in your life. I promise you guys, you'll never negotiate your peace again once you know it. Because you understand that peace is something you don't want to lose. And I'm going to go a little further with beyond what I stated in that second paragraph about, it being when your peace is secure, you look at all these different areas. I want you also to know when your peace is secure, you just don't date anybody. You don't just date any old kind of person that just dibbles and dabbles when they want to. You don't get into situationships that challenges you so much that you take away from things that are really going to benefit you. See, some of us, we get into situationships and we get into friendships and we get into careers and we get into all these different things that take away from our peace. And you don't understand it, but because you're so tied up in it and it's already like this disturbance has already got over you so much and you don't really know how you're going to get through. You don't know why or if you ever going to get through, simply because you have been focusing on the situation and not your strength. And see, that's when you have to realize that peace is important, because when you know peace, you don't just because there's opportunity, you don't think that every opportunity is your opportunity. And when you secure your peace, you don't look at every door as your door. When you know and you secure your peace, you don't just walk through every relationship that says, I want you. I promise you, when you know your peace, you will never negotiate the urge of being needed by someone that doesn't understand your worth. And that was for somebody tonight. That you'll never understand. You'll never understand why or if or what, or even after the fact, you probably won't understand why, what, or if. But that's the point. When you secure your peace, you don't have to worry about those things because you're not focused on those things. But your peace is secured, you know that I'm going to be okay. And so that's when I said, as we go a little further, and we're going to go ahead and to get to the meat of this. I know you're like, okay, where we going with this? Where we going with this? We talking about securing your peace, because it's easier said than done. I understand people are facing real things, and then this might not help just everybody. But let me tell you about what it's about when you are in a place of influence. And this is necessary to every leader out there, every person that has been in a place of influence. There may be a person standing in the rain. You may be the person to give someone an umbrella. But the person coming after them, the person coming after you might be that person that changes that person's life, and not only give them a shelter to stay in, and not only give them food, but they might provide a sense of change in their life. Does that make either one of you not valid or more valid? No. Because you both were helped. I may not be your answer. This word may not be your answer, but it's the first step. Maybe you already been through the first step. Maybe I'm the second step. Whatever it is, I want someone to know tonight that choose what makes you happy. Choose what makes you happy in your relationship, your friendship, your career, your school. If that means moving, whatever it is. Because if you choose that one, that'll be the one that your peace flourishes in. And I think that we so often, and I'm going to go ahead and make my way to my close with this one. So often, we let things overtake us that we should have never given that power to. If we were to have visited these areas when we were 20, then they wouldn't have followed us until we were 30. If we would have visited those areas of our life where we were just hungry, like we were just, like you suffered from grief because you lost a loved one, or you suffered from depression because of certain, like you had mom issues, or you had dad issues, or you had bullying issues, or whatever it may have been. If we started there and dissected on, if we admitted that we were not okay, if we admitted that we weren't fine, when people say, are you good? Are you fine? You're not good. If you're not good, say that you're not good. It doesn't make you weak. I promise you, the strongest statement you can say in a time of depression and anxiety and overwhelmment and all those different things, the strongest thing you can tell someone, the most impactful thing that you can tell someone is, I'm not okay, because then you put your pride to the side. Some of us, we've lacked opportunity. We've lacked opportunity to heal because our pride was in our way. Some of us, we have lost opportunity to grow because our pride overruled our purpose. And I don't want anyone tonight to miss their purpose because their pride was in the way. And this is what I stated next. I said, don't let depression, fear, and anxiety be how your story ends. Somebody is going to watch this video and you have been facing depression, and you have been facing anxiety, and you've been facing fear. You looked fear in the eye. Fear has told you that you couldn't ever accomplish the things that you want to. But I want you to know that that's not how your story is supposed to end. See, that's the test. Things are going to come into your life that's going to challenge you. Now, I want you, when you look fear in the eye, I want you to go deep inside and find that hunger of, I know I will. And I want you to look fear in the eye. I want you to tell fear, I don't know what my end is going to look like, but I know that's not going to end with you. That was a word for someone. Tell depression, I don't know what my end is going to be, but I am not going to end with you. Tell anxiety, I don't know what my end is going to look like, but it's not going to end with you. Let those things in those areas of your life understand that, yeah, you thought that you had me. Yeah, I almost tripped over all the things that you had in my path, but I promise you, tripping is not falling. And if I were to fall, I promise you, I can get back up. You've got that strength. Visit that place, man. Like, go to that place where nobody thought that you would go and find that inner peace. I promise you, there is too much left out there in your purpose for you to fulfill, for you to leave here. For you to leave here full of purpose. When you leave here, when you take your last breath, leave here with all the things that were destined inside of you gone. That you've already let those lights be shown into the world. Each of you have a light. Each of you have a purpose. And I promise you that those people that's been painting that picture of fully being together, they face things. So don't let that stuff deter you and throw you off. All of our journeys are unique for a reason. And y'all, if you see that end statement, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this blog post, but I want you guys to look at it. Why do we continue to forfeit our peace? Because we constantly long to have it all figured out. Life is a continual learning process. You will not be able to know every detail of your story. And I know it's hard to come to terms with not knowing every chapter in your book. But think about it. When you begin reading a book, would it be beneficial for you to know the ending before the beginning? No. Because if you know the ending, then why would you read the book? It's good to know the process. Everything that you have to get to is going to take a process. And why? Because you evaluate it more. You will understand the reasoning behind the book if you read it from start to finish and not finish to start. That's in itself a word for you. It's and this is the last sentence. We begin to lose our peace trying to find understanding in things that God has already worked out. When God says, I got you, believe him the first time. I don't know what you're believing. I don't know what your higher power is. I don't know what it is that's your safe space. But I want you to know that you can get through this. This thing is not greater than you. It's not bigger than you. And I promise you, it doesn't end with it. I promise you that it will not take you out unless you let it. I promise you that life is all about what you make it. And day to day, you're going to face things that's going to test your strength. It's going to test your capabilities. But I want you to know tonight that you're capable for everything that you faced. He ain't through with you yet. Secure that area of your life that you thought you had secured. If you become offended every time a situation like this arrives, visit that place. If you long to be loved by someone, even if they treat you bad, let it go. Because it's greater out there for you. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all want to follow me. Y'all want to give me some topics that you want me to talk on. Let me know. You can find me on Facebook at Destine Hicks. You can find me on YouTube at Destine Hicks. And you can check out my blog, the Invitation blog. I'll see you all next Friday, 7:30, same place. Stay up and stay empowered.
Get at me for beats, yo.